For joining us for the 11:30 a.m. session today on Tuesday. My name is Clee Sellers. I serve as the coordinator of at Oklahoma State University. So just before we get started, I wanted to go ahead and thank our sponsors for helping us put on this event. This event has been brought to you for free, and it is thanks to these sponsors that have helped us out for this event. And so we're very thankful for the support that they have given to us. Going into the session, I just wanted to go ahead and remind everyone to please go ahead and turn off your video and mute your microphones so that this does not distract our speaker. There will likely be some time for questions at some point during this presentation. At that point, you are more than welcome to turn your video on and unmute your mic. But until then, please go ahead and turn those off for us. Also, I'd encourage you to go ahead and follow us on social media as well. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we also have a website for you to look at as well. Please make sure that you go ahead and do that when you have an opportunity to go ahead and follow us so that you're informed on what's going on within our region. So with all that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our speaker today. Hannah Bush is a graduate assistant of fitness at Oklahoma State University, and she's going to be presenting On Tap, Not on Top, an emerging leadership style. So that being said, Hannah, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Again, thank you so much for spending, is it Tuesday morning with me. I'm honored that I have so many people here. So again, thank you. I'm going to go ahead, start my screen share. And just like Clee said, thank you to our sponsors. He kind of already mentioned all of this, so I'll breeze right on through. Here is our social media again. And then again, thank you so much for having this conference and hosting all of us. And like Clee said, my presentation is called On Tap, Not on Top, an emerging leadership style. My name is Hannah Bush. I work at Oklahoma State University. I am the fitness graduate assistant. One of them. Shout out to my team. I love them. So happy that I am at Oklahoma State. With that, I am going to go ahead and get started. So again, this presentation is all about an emerging leadership style, the democratic professional. Now, first to get started, I'm going to ask you guys to do some self-reflection. So I'm going to ask, what are qualities of a good leader to you? Now I'm going to switch over to a word cloud. So I'm going to stop my share real quick, and then I'm going to reshare, and we are going to go ahead and go to www.menti.com and use the code 4009089, and it should prompt you to put in 3 words that you believe are qualities of a good leader to you. Now, when you submit your words of what you think a good leader is, they should all populate up onto our board right here, and then we'll get a nice little word cloud going. Oh, good. Yay, I'm glad it's working. The nice thing about these word clouds, if you've ever used Menti before, it makes the words that appear the most, the biggest, it makes the words that appear the most, the biggest. So coming off straight from the top, communication, empathetic, servant, we got some common themes going on here. I'm gonna give us a few more moments to get those words in. Again, those big ones, that communication, no one is being out communication right now. We have empathetic, understanding, compassionate, intentional. I really enjoy the word intentional. These are all great. And with that, I'm going to give us 10 more seconds to get some last minute words in. But again, I don't think anyone's going to beat out that communication. So again, our top words: communication, empathetic, understanding, listener. These are all fantastic words. So let me go ahead. We'll come back to this Menti, so don't close out of that. And let me go right on back. Oh no. Oh no. Sorry, my lights turned off on me. They are working now. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you all for participating in that little Menti. Again, it's just qualities of what a good leader is. And we're supposed to be doing that self-reflection and thinking about what we think a good leader is. So going off of that, it's really important that we create our own definition of leader. Now, I ask you all to send in those words because that's what you believe a good definition is going to be. Now, up on the screen, I do have a very powerful sentence. Perception is a powerful arbiter of the reality we construct. So what does all of that mean? Perception is the way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something. In other words, a mental impression. Arbiter is views or actions that have great influence over ourselves. And that last part, the reality we construct, is our normal, or the context in which we have been socialized to view. Now, yay, you might be thinking, wow, that's a great sentence. I didn't know what any of those words mean. Or you're sitting there like, oh, I already knew all of that. But how does this apply to leadership? What that means is leadership is the sense we make of it. In regards to leadership, how we view, understand, or interpret leaders around us, our perception will shape and have great influence, that arbiter piece, of what we think of what normal leadership is, or that reality we construct. Again, all in all, leadership, or how we lead, is the sense we make of it. What we believe makes a good leader is what we will strive to become and embody in our own leadership style. Going off of that, we need to understand what makes a good leader. So how do we do that and apply this concept of perception and creating our own reality? We need to understand and read leadership theory. So leadership theory is schools of thought that are brought forward to explain how and why certain individuals become leaders. So over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be introducing us to the democratic professional leadership theory. Now, I'm in graduate school. Again, I'm a graduate assistant. I am studying college student development. So one of my classes I'm currently taking is leadership theory, in which we're learning about all of these different styles and models of leadership. The democratic professional style is one that really stuck with me because I saw how applicable it was to my line of work in campus recreation. So I really wanted to present this at a NERSA conference because I really think we could all learn something and apply it to literally our current role and job on our campus. With that being said, though, there is no right way to lead. I'm a little biased. I'm presenting on the democratic professional leadership theory. I'm definitely going to try to embody that in my work and probably the rest of forever going on. But there's really no right way to lead. I'm just here to educate you all on this certain style, and I definitely encourage you all to go out and do your own reading and investigating into different leadership theories, because it's super important to understand leadership theory, because you get to pick and choose little different pieces and aspects of different theories that you can all apply together. So again, there's no right way to lead. This is all about yourself. I'm just going to talk us through the democratic professional leadership theory. And to begin to understand that, we need to start at traditional leadership. So we need to take it back to some of our our former views of how people led. That first one that a lot of people still apply is that great man leadership theory. This is under a lot of our characteristic leadership theory traits. And it's the idea that people are born with certain leadership traits, and those people automatically rise up to the challenge. So what are some of those leadership traits? A lot of people believe that being a leader takes assertiveness, charm, intelligence, action orientation, and persuasiveness. People tend to attribute those qualities to who they want to be leaders. And those are all great qualities, but sometimes over the years, those qualities shifted into the idea that leaders are experts in their field. All of those qualities that I just mentioned are very self-assertive, very reassured. So people tend to view those people who lead in that style as experts in their field. And that perpetuates a cycle in which leaders then think that they have all of the knowledge and that they are always right. So we need to challenge that great man leadership theory and move into our democratic professional leadership theory, which is what we will move into. So the main idea with our democratic professional leadership theory is that leaders are seeking to understand the need of the collective and not just decide what they see is fit for the good of others. So like I just said, this breaks a lot of the molds we just talked about. It is a view in which people in positions of power or experts in a field, those traditional leaders we just talked about, are actually meant to elevate the people below them, not just make decisions based off of what they see as fit. So let's break down what it means to be a democratic professional. So again, the leaders in this model are democratic professionals. Democratizing means making accessible for everyone, or as ZERS from 2019 recently said, use of professional training, capabilities, and authority to help people in their fields of action solve problems together. So it's really taking a viewpoint of democracy and making things accessible for everyone. It's not just a top-down leadership. It's let's all work together using our resources that we have available and accessible to ourselves to influence other people. And then obviously the second part of that word, professional, means to be engaged in a specific activity as one's main paid occupation. Now, I'm not saying that leaders in this theory are not experts. They are just using the knowledge of their craft and their position of power to listen to what people around them want and what they need. It's all about imparting knowledge onto your, whatever you want to call them, subordinates, constituents, whatever you want to think about. But it's imparting that knowledge and cultivating agency for all of those around you. Another super important aspect of the democratic professional leadership theory, which I like to think that I'm trying to really apply in my own role in my own life, is stepping away from the preconceived notion of where a change happens and challenge our traditional beliefs. So again, it's breaking away from that idea that change can only happen at an administrative level. We have to recognize that there is power and change stemming from people all around us. It's not just the people in our higher up administrative positions. It's literally our everyday students and citizens who can make change. Sometimes they just don't have the power or the tools. So that's where our democratic professional model comes into play. As a democratic professional, you're making accessible the tools to create that change and utilizing your authority to help other people elevate to that power and that authority. So I know this is a huge idea, and you're probably asking, well, how can I apply all of this? These are really big, dense topics. Well, I'm so glad you asked, because yay, we're going to put this to practice now. I'm going to go through a couple of day-to-day responsibilities of a democratic professional. Now, again, when I was researching this, I pulled a lot of things from books that I read in class, but also from a lot of articles, and I will have a list of references for my work at the end of my presentation. These few items that you see up on the screen were things that I really took to heart and things that I wanted to utilize in my own personal view of leadership. So again, these are things that stood out to me, but I do encourage you to do that additional research, taking it a step further, because knowledge comes from our research and our education. So I cannot emphasize enough that you get what you put out, and this is all about being a democratic professional. So just working, these are my favorites that we'll talk through, but I encourage you to go find your own. So anyway, moving right into that first one I have up on the screen, that is taking public responsibility seriously. And this can take on a lot of different forms depending on what you regard as your role to the public. So you can apply this little action item to your personal life and your civic duties as a citizen, Or you can apply this practice to the idea that your work and your job is your public responsibility. Why are the lights turning off? I'm so sorry, everyone. The building knows I'm in here. Wow, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. Thank you. Okay, sorry. And then our number 2, we are going to listen carefully to people outside of our close proximity. So again, like I just mentioned, the entire idea behind a democratic professional is elevating and understanding what the collective group of people need and want. So how can we understand and listen carefully and elevate people to a leadership role if we don't even know what like our collective people want, because we're just staying within the confines of our own walls and our own comforts? It's super important to talk to and actually absorb the information that you're learning from other people. The next 2 bullet points that I have listed are ideas that really stood out to me. They're both fostering proximity between formerly separated groups and seeking out opportunities for collective work. So these kind of go hand in hand. Not only do democratic professionals want to bring understanding and awareness to separate groups about each other, they also want everyone to work together. This could be manifested and applied in a lot of different ways. But what I like most about these are, I believe these are 2 things that I'm currently working on in my job right now. I just love creating like team camaraderie, and I really think I'm trying to implement that into my day-to-day life. So, and then our last one, creating social change. And I know saying that sounds like a big doozy. And I'm not telling you to implement the day of like the democratic professional leadership theory and then go out and feel that you need to tackle the most challenging, taxing social change like issues of our society. If you have the ability to do that, hats off to you. I love that for you. But there is an element of being a democratic professional in which you are constantly striving for what you believe is positive social change. Now, again, that doesn't need to be tackling the greatest issues our society is facing, but it could just be little things day by day. So whether that looks like creating a break room for your employees to have a place to hang out, or maybe even putting your pronouns in your email signature and informing people on the importance of having those pronouns. Little things just like that make all of the difference in the world. Now, this leads me to kind of my conclusion of being a democratic professional, and hence why I named my presentation On Tap, Not on Top. So being on tap and not on top means that we are ready to help and listen to the people around us. We are ready to be on tap to give people what they need from us, not just assuming that our ways are right because this is how we have always done it and you are on top. You as a professional are there to help encourage and pour into your students or whoever you believe you are helping. You aren't there to constantly tell them no. You're there to support and grow and encourage them. You are literally impacting change on their lives and helping them grow and develop into the students and the professionals that they will soon be in 4 years once they leave our campus. So again, I just said a lot of big words and a lot of things that seemed like it was big, big chunks. But how does this all relate to campus recreation? And how can you take this and apply this to your day-to-day life as a leader in your own campus? Again, I'm glad you asked because we're going to go right into that. Applying this to campus recreation. Our student staff are our community that we want to affect change. We are in a position of power to affect that change on our community, being professionals on campus. Our students, again, are our community. They are our public responsibility. They are the collective that we as democratic professionals need to listen to. This is their world. And we are literally just here to make it better. So we need to listen to them and properly give them the tools that they need to succeed. Again, listening to them day by day, implying that they should go out of their comfort zones and branch out. There's a lot of things that you can take away to affect that change. We have that opportunity to lead in this democratic professional way by elevating our staff and giving them, cultivating the agency in their lives to help them enact change. When we do that, we ourselves are enacting change and giving them the autonomy to create that change. Our students hold power and they have knowledge, and we need to understand, learn, and respect that. We are here as professionals to build them up and grow them and help them realize their own power and growth and development. And when we lead in this democratic professional way, we have so many opportunities to elevate them to a new level. We don't want to just give them information through trainings and then leave them to do their own thing. It means constantly checking in, seeing if they need anything from us. Also, asking, where would you like to see our program go? That is a fantastic question. Our students are the frontline workers. They know what's going wrong in our programs. They see what's going right. Asking them, actually listening and taking from them the input that they're giving means so much to them. So yes, we are placed in a position of power for a reason, but it is up to us to use that power for the good of our students and for the good of our collective that I know we all care about because we are professionals in this community. We are passionate professionals who want to empower students. And this is such a great leadership theory that we can take into account right here. So with that, we're going to have that one last Menti. I'm going to have you guys self-reflect on what I just talked about. And I'm going to stop my screen share real quick, but I'm going to ask, how can you use this information in your current role on campus? So what does implementing some ideas of being a democratic professional look like to you? And I'm going to go back to that Menti. Give me 1 second. And then it should be that same code, but we are going to that new question. How can you use this information in your current role? And it should pop up little stickies, like a little blurb for you to input your answer. Be present, that's an awesome one. And definitely feel free. This takes a lot. I know I just shared a lot with you, so really bringing that all in. Constant communication and feedback. Ask them how they would work to bridge gaps between silos. Very true. We see silos in all aspects of our lives, and we want to make sure that we can bridge things together. Be a mentor rather than a boss for our students. Yep. So that boss role, that boss idea kind of goes back to our great man leadership theory, and mentoring is more of that democratic professional idea. Evaluate every aspect and gets feedback from our students. Yep. And once we get that feedback from our students, it's important that we actually practice what we preach and apply that and see how we can change to fit what our students are saying. Allow students to be heard. These are all fantastic. Lead by example. Utilize students' ideas and feedback that are for changes. Oh, I really like this one. Create student staff groups that meet with pro staff to discuss things they like, don't like, and should be changed. That would be a fantastic project to take on. I kind of want to do that with my student staff. I love that idea. I'll give us one more minute to get our ideas in. Allowing students to express themselves. Yep. I don't know why I keep going in the dark. I'm sorry. The lights are motion censored. Ooh, another good one, not making unilateral decisions, but not being afraid to make a decision with the info you get from students. Snaps, I love that one. Sometimes it's scary to listen to our students because it seems like, oh, they don't have that knowledge, but students have knowledge and they have power, and we have to take and utilize that from them. I love that one. All right, I feel like that's all we're gonna get, but thank you guys so much for participating in that. I will stop that share. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. So again, it takes little tiny steps every single day, but I truly believe that we care so much about our students and we want the best for them, and we are in a position to provide them the best. We just need to listen to them and apply that feedback we learn. So with that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, I'd love to open up the floor right now. Thank you again so much for listening and spending your Tuesday morning with me. My contact information is right here. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about anything. This is my list of references that I used. Those are all 3 fantastic books. I love reading and I love learning. But again, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to stop my screen share. And if you have any questions, please feel free. Oh, thank you guys. All right, Cecilia, I believe that I hope I read your name. Thank you guys so much. Cecilia asked, where can I find more information on the different leadership theories? So Cecilia, I would honestly, if you would like to email me, there's a lot of different leadership theories, but I could possibly email you a comprehensive list, or I don't know if I can possibly make that available to all of NERSA, but definitely the leadership theory, cultivating critical perspectives by John Dugan is a fantastic book. There's a whole bunch of leadership theories in there, and I would really recommend that. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the chat. Thank you guys again so much for the positive feedback. I love that. Cecilia, just give me 1 second. I'll throw that in the chat. And Cecilia, I believe the most up-to-date version of this book is from 2017. Thank you all so much for this. Wow, I'm so excited. Do we have any other questions? Thank you. My next presentation is tomorrow, 2:15. It's called Fitness Facilitators, Bridging the Gap Between group fitness instructors, and the community. Feel free to attend. I will be presenting with my lovely coordinator, Selena Tabuena. So please show up to that one as well. It's at 2:15. And again, I'm sorry about the light situation. Thank you, Jake, for that Zoom link to our students. The Talk to a GA panel starts in 5 minutes.
Hannah, thanks so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you. I'm sorry about the lights.
So honestly, our lights have been going in and out too because of the ice storm. So it's
Yeah,
been interesting trying to keep ours on.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. All right, should I hop off?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and end the meeting for everyone. Thanks again. You did an awesome job.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye, everyone.